rules, the children first, family first, and the rest of that shit can take a backseat to hell. We don't want it if it's not benefiting the collective.
I think it's interesting that the movie that's coming out, I don't know whether it's coming out is it before the summer's over or in the fall, with the Warrior Queens or whatever. I think it's very interesting. Viola Davis.
I haven't seen that movie, Dr. G.
The trailer, well, it's not out. It's not out, but the trailer is like, it makes you like, yes, you know. It to me is it even puts Black Panther on the back burner, because it's like queen. The way they call them queens, but you know we know what queen means. But it's melanated sisters fighting and destroying, doing exactly. I think it's a metaphor for what needs to happen in the spiritual realm.
Not only is it a metaphor, it's rooted in historical facts.
Right.
Here's a historical fact. When the men couldn't get the job done on the battlefield, the women got the job done. And so just so that people can have a reference to what I'm talking about, research Anne Zinga.
Queen Zinga, yeah.
Research Queen Makita and research the Candace Queens. When they said Alexander conquered the world, when he ran into the Candace Queens, he made a sharp left turn and went into the Indus Valley. He didn't want no parts of that. Right? When the Anne Zinga brother, the general of the military, kept getting his ass handed to him by the Dutch and the Portuguese, she gave him a final warning before a battle. She said, if you lose this battle, don't come home. I'm going to take over the army, and I'm going to show you how victory is won on the battlefield. And he went to go fight the Portuguese and the Dutch. They handed his ass to him. The scout came back that she sent to follow him and said they're getting their ass handed to him. As they was in retreat from the battlefield, she passed them on the battlefield going to the fight. She was kicking their ass so bad they wanted to negotiate. But they wanted to humiliate her by making a woman stand up. She got gorillas for bodyguards. We don't play that. You're not going to disrespect this sister. I be her seat. She can sit on me because you ain't going to look down on her in my presence. Right? So the man becomes a proper support, even in a secondary position. You still got to be the proper support for the sisters. And when we can't get the job done, we have to recognize Big Mama got a group of girls that she sent in at the end as the final cleanup crew, and they tear this motherfucker up with the laws of nature. They not finna go fight you with their fists. These are the final. You don't want this part to happen, but you will know if it do, because it's gonna be the most beautiful storms you ever seen, tearing shit up, coast to coast, 360 around the globe. Right? It's a hurricane, but it's pink lavender with lace swirl around it. Who's seen that shit before?
That's why they call it what? A hurricane.
But we in the ancient days, we used to call it the most beautiful destructions, because it'll be a hailstorm, what they call gorilla hailstorm, with fist-sized hail balls falling, and it might be lightning in purple, green, and lavender tints of electrical boat in the middle of the storm, and it looks so sweet you don't want to go in, but them hail balls get to hit you, you can't stay out there. Right? But you want to see it, but you know it ain't safe.
Right.
That's how you know when the final wave finally hit, when Big Mama finally turned her big girls loose.
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard the saying, put on your big girl panties?
You're breaking up again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Somebody had called in and interrupted my feed.
Okay. Stop calling him.
But you ever heard the term "put on your big girl panties"?
Yeah.
That's what they all make.
That's when it get real. When it get real, you're gonna have to deal with this issue. Yep, you're gonna have to put your big girl panties on and like
don't make them sisters put on their big girl panties. Talking about earthquakes. So when they say put on your big girl panties, this way, It's a certain energy that the women lock on to when they dance and they shaking their hips. It's called the sway of the matriarchs. They can make mockery of it in the Dumbo movie. And you see the elephant swaying back side to side.
Mm-hmm.
I actually posted some sisters doing it in Africa, and they all dressed in blue dresses. I think that's on my Morpheus page, but it might be on my Rod Hayes Facebook, because they deleted my other Rod Hayes off Instagram. But the dance is a conjure. It's only to cause earthquakes. And the more of the grand matriarchs, in order to be a grand matriarchs, they have to have a certain amount of prestige as among matriarchs. The men don't rank the matriarchs, they rank each other. By most loved, most respected. And the ones who reach the top become Big Mama's representatives, ambassadors to Earth. And when the daughters of Earth is subjugated, they the last line of defense after they send me. And y'all don't want them sisters to come out, because when them earthquakes hit, they don't just shake local areas, they shake land masses. So I got videos already in past where I was talking about the women in the marching of the matriarchs. The March of the Mayors is a 50 sisters conjure that was done in order to ensure that they can't lose. Once they done that, it was over with. It's just a matter of the magnitude of the events is going to cause a certain amount of time for it to come from spirit to physical, because a global change is so huge. The minimum amount of time on the turnaround is 3 years. And that's why when we close the contract out July the 4th, 2019, it took 3 years for the women to decide to begin a migration away from the old systems around the world. What we don't know in America, and the mainstream media is never going to cover it, is they still watching what's known as the Soviet Republic of China, the SRP. They're not in power. The Republic of China, ran by the matriarchs, took over 3 years ago, and I had posted it when it happened because I had to put it in the public domain. So when I tell people I've already reported on, it's nothing new. Every one of these countries now is working on restoring their original matriarchal order. It's just that we the last ones left.
Well, you have a lot of them. Look, I mean, quick wisdom, but you have all these mayors. I mean, like a prime minister. Boris Johnson resigned, and 50. They said ministers resigned all over. You know, the alleged guy in Japan was murdered, allegedly, or maybe not. Maybe it was a show. But all of these, you see, all of these leaders either stepping down or being brought down for some reason or another. I mean, this is a lot happening at the same time. So it is a signal of something, of change, definitely.
Right. So in corporate America, the women is taking over the CEO positions. It's not that the men not allowed to have CEO positions. It's just that they have to first make it a new culture at the CEO position to have the interest of everybody in the company at heart when decisions is made. And women does this naturally. So Mary Barra from General Motors is leading the matriarchal reclaiming of the corporate America from the secret societies that was ruling it. And that's on the corporate side. On the political side, there's key women, all of them not revealed, in political places that's going to be making statements to reveal that the matriarchy is back in control. All this is going to just unfold after we see what happened with the tribunals that's going on with the deep state scenario. All that's got to come out to the public domain. And we going from Pisces believing to knowing in Aquarius. And we at the part now where we beyond the 50% mark of the year.
Listen, I'm gonna see how I can say this because I don't want. I saw a video, and I don't know if it's still on YouTube, but somebody, I think, either sent it to me, but I was looking at it on my television, and literally they have a video out with the guy HB, you know, the son, and with excerpts from the laptop, and the parts they trying to show it so you don't look, but you can see literally what's going on in that. And I'm thinking, if this don't make some changes, I mean, it should have happened before his father got in, But nevertheless, I mean, somebody has a video out there, like a little music video, they're calling it, and they have clips from it. Literally, I don't know if anybody else has seen it, but I saw it yesterday, and I was like, can you hear me? I couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I hear you now.
Dr. G?
Yes.
Okay. So I've been telling people for about 3 months now, watch the Hunter Biden laptop so you don't get caught off guard. Because it's the straw that broke the bull's back.
It's out.
Once they entered into congressional evidence, that was the public notice that it was going to be the source by which they expose everything. So now they slow leaking clips from the laptop as a indicator of what's to come, and they're doing this because they have to soften up the people so they don't take it so hard when they realize how deep this rabbit hole went for us to reach the bottom and clear it all the way out. The Biden, the laptop, I'm not going to say nobody's name, but right. The laptop is going to trigger another laptop scenario in a different file out of New York about some child sacrifice that's going to also expose, or it's going to come out in a cross section of information between the Maxwell House trial, which was coded, by the way, just so I didn't get you.
The coffee trial, yeah, I got
right. So her trial and the laptop scenario, or the two laptops, gonna all end up converging at the pizza parlor, if you get what I'm saying.
I get you.
So while they exposing what's going on at the pizza parlor, that's gonna be the shock and awe and the last hurrah to give the people the inside scoop. And this is when we're going to start having 24-hour tribunal TV showing us all of the people that's been tried and what they've been tried for: crimes against humanity, human trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking, arms trafficking, all kind of stuff from all over the world. You're going to have high figures of society being dirty laundry drug out in the open, because the military strategists say if the incoming king wants to win favor with the people, after he's thwarted the conspiracy, he dragged the conspirators out before the people and laid the conspiracy bare so that the people can understand the doom that they were rescued from, and they become supporters of the king as he restored the land and the water and the air. The people not going to never support you if you don't show them the ugliness that you went through and on the behalf of the people in order to restore everything, right? Mm-hmm. So while we doing public notices to the grassroots, because that's all we doing with these conversations, trying to educate the grassroots on how to see beyond the charade, to see the show going on behind the scenes. So I had to break it down into what you call bite-sized morsels and throw a couple of colorful epithets in there, because to be politically correct when the politics
they got you breaking up again. Can you hear me, Rod? Because you're breaking up again. We are ready to close in just a bit, y'all. I appreciate each and every one of you all. If you came in late, because I see a bigger number than there was before. If you came in late and you didn't see the beginning of this video, this interview, I want you to go back and give it another look and share it, because this has been very, very eye-opening, and a look into the life and the background of Brother Rod Hayes, how he has gotten to the place where he is now, because so many people have been focusing on just what he says, and not as many have been, knowing the man behind what the man says. So we appreciate you all for being on here. You're 1,300 plus strong, and that's a good thing. I want you to like if you haven't. Please subscribe to this channel. And I want to say this to you, brother Rod. Whatever you want to finish, try to get it in right now before they block you, and then I'll do the thing, bringing you up. So whatever you were saying, look, go on with it.
Okay, so this is where we at the end game. We really past the end game now. So what we need to be looking for is a sudden dump of information. It's gonna come all at once because it's been held back and it's been seeping out in little clips. So that's like a leak before a dam break. That little sprout of water in the cartoon before it ruptured the whole dam. You can't.
From referring to them who received a tribal rights back under our system that they were denied under the corporate fiction that was the interim government for the time of war. That's over with. They closed March the 1st. Right. So, well, that's the scheduled day of closing. They're supposed to have been closed. But they have no bill on the table to try to extend their legal fiction any longer than March the 1st. So we will be having a national Mardi Gras next year. Trump announced it as a 250-year celebration, right? Which takes us to February the 25th, and it's 25 on 2 flips, which is 2 quarters. 2 quarters is 50 flip. And you have 50 on each side. That's 200, which is the 4-corner shuffle to put everything back in its proper order. There's balance on both sides. 2 quarters on this side, 2 quarters on that side, which turns out to be 4 sevens, which is 4 masters. So it's all about getting back to our own systems so that we can be self-determining and autonomous, and we can make all of those decisions at the leadership summits about who gonna settle where and how we gonna tribe up. We got the right to restore our cultural heritage any way we see fit without anybody's outside opinion even being given a fuck about. It's not about what they think or want us to do. It's about what we decide to do amongst ourselves at this point. We have to choose how we want to be as a people across the land.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
A lot of people's feelings is hurt because they believed for so long a thing was one way. And when you find out for the first time, damn, I got tricked. That's not the first thing that you feel, though. The first thing you feel is the anger and the resentment of the fact that you was tricked. Then the next thing that you feel is, I didn't mind finding out I was tricked, but why did it have to be this motherfucker to tell me? Because the person that they expect to see is not the person that appeared with the information to set them free. And so you look the part. They reject what you're saying as if you don't know what you're talking about.
I love that answer.
It's a response to cognitive dissonance in the negative.
It's almost.
But see, that's part of shadow work too, finding your self-identity. Can't nobody tell you who you is. If you let everybody tell you who you is, they creating your artificial ego for you.
That part.
Because your ego is the sum total of everything anybody told you about you that you believe without investigating to find out if it was true.
That's right.
I don't mind people disagreeing with me. I don't think everybody supposed to agree on everything all the time anyway, or we'd be some fucking idiots. Only
Plus,
if you disagree and then you go to prove it wrong and you find out you prove it right, do you change your mind. Oh, I done been everything but a child of God.
Me too.
Right. And so
I'm wrong because I asked the question.
mm-hmm. Look,
But
I feel like anybody got a right to feel and think however they want. That's their right. I just don't have to give a fuck. I never read that nowhere where because you don't like me, I have to be overly concerned about it. I don't care. I don't care. You're supposed to have your own perspective of your life, right? It just so happens that most people believe they have their own perspective, but they following some dogmatic pursuit somebody else gave them. I'm not following dogma.
Nisha had a question for you.
I'm following what's in my heart. My heart told me where I belong. Period. So they running into the paper genocidal construct where they reclassified us under fictitious terms and alternate definitions of who we are as a people, so we would always disassociate who we are from the land. I know where my parents is from. I know what tribes are from those lands, so I don't care what they say. I know my history because my mom and my daddy told me my history over my lifetime, and my aunties and my uncles. They told all of the stories of the family that allowed me to reach back generations of information through the stories that they would tell. I don't need a DNA test to prove who I am. I said who I was. That's proof for me. It don't have to be proof for somebody else. When I tell a person I'm Mississippi clay dirt walking, that's because my people come from Mississippi. And I got a strong connection to the land in Mississippi. And my father's Canton, Mississippi. My mother's from Magnolia, Macomb, Mississippi. Most of those towns, Tylertown to